Yeah, you should be on. You there? Yes.
What's up?
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
world.
How is everybody doing? How are you, Ben? So happy to see
Oh,
you.
man, I am, I'm here. I'm present. I'm happy to be here. There's been a lot going on in my world, as there is yours, and I'm hearing kind of everybody's having
Yeah,
there's a lot of energy going on in the world.
a lot of energy going on. And you know what? Actually, I just realized, I don't know how I didn't realize this before, but we have a full moon happening on Friday night, which
Yeah, I
is,
was gonna say, Cassie was like,
yeah,
"What's going on?" And she goes, "What's going on with the moon yesterday?" Because we were having this crazy day, and she was like, "What's up with the moon? Where's the moon?" And we looked up. It was daytime, and the moon was like almost full. And she was like, "Oh, okay,
here she comes. Yeah,
here she
Friday night.
comes."
Here she comes, that big
Yeah,
moon. And it's a moon.
literally,
The
my
moon is
camera fell while we were talking about this.
because she's like, oh boy, don't
She's
tell
like,
everybody my big
"Girl, you better
secret.
hold on." Yeah.
Girl, you better chill out. Yeah, so the full moon actually is the full moon that is, well, obviously we're in the sign of Aries, but it's the full moon of Libra,
Obviously.
obviously, and it happens, and it's also very significant religiously because it's always the first night of Passover, number one. And
Really?
number two,
Always.
absolutely
Wow.
always. And it
On the
always
moon?
falls on the moon. The first night of Passover is always on the full moon.
See, I know the Jews are tapped in. They always know. They
Of
know what's up.
course. Hello. Abraham, the greatest astrologer that there ever was.
Yes, the tribe knows what's up.
And then there was Daniel.
And then there was Daniel, Bobby, and
Good
Ben.
morning, Betsy. Betsy's here, Ben. We
Oh
have to
my.
give an extra shout out, extra special shout out.
Hi, Betsy. Wow, I
Hi,
feel so honored.
Betsy.
What has you be here? In fact,
Exactly.
I want to say hello to everyone who's here with us this morning. We have a great group, like a powerful, amazing, beautiful group of
Yes.
people. So I
Hold
just
on.
want to
Wait,
say
wait, wait.
thank you for being here.
Let me practice my Turkish too. Teşekkür ederim. Mengus. Mengus is here from Turkey. So
Wow.
wonderful.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so moving. I want to share, this is going to be a little heavy, but it's beautiful. My aunt just died in Turkey, and her name
She,
was Sumer,
I didn't know she
and
was living in Turkey.
she's Turkish. So the fact that that just happened does not surprise me. Thank you, Aunt
Ah,
Sumer and Mingus, for showing up. My aunt was this jazz singer and educator of music and children in Istanbul, and she met my uncle 80 years ago, or no, maybe not that one, maybe 60 years ago. And then they they raised their children, they all did music, and then they all moved to Memphis. And so they were Turkish, and they had these southern accents. They were
no
amazing.
way.
Papatya and Sevki. And so I have this whole incredible family, including like the one known intuitive, like the one known psychic in our family,
Hmm.
um, who's also in Tennessee. And these are all people I'm really close to. And this past weekend, I didn't know what was going on. I was driving to be with my band and have a rehearsal and make an album. And we're getting really creative again. And it's spring. And I get all these calls from my cousins in Turkey. And I don't know what's going on, but I just keep telling them, like, I'm driving, I can't talk. I'm driving, I can't talk. And then Sunday night, oh, and then that weekend, I went to the only deli that was open down the street, and it was owned by a Turkish man. It was brand new.
Oh.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, I have family in Turkey." And he was like, "No way." We start because he's like, "You don't look Turkish." I'm like, "I know, we married it." But like, we're really close. They're my first cousins. It was my godmother. So he and I were talking the whole week, and I didn't know, what had actually happened, that my aunt had passed. And so one of the things we're talking about today is how to let go in service of something so much greater, and when plans change, right?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to share that because it was, as I let go, I
Hmm.
see the angels all around,
Of
and I
course.
feel so taken care of. Like this man that I met in the deli in Brooklyn, and this beautiful woman who's joined us today, and you speaking. I'm like, how Daniel knows Turkish?
I lived in
So
Istanbul.
amazing.
Yeah.
What?
I lived in Istanbul during the pandemic, actually, leave it to me. I just picked
Yeah,
up
of
and moved
course.
to Istanbul because it
Of
was
course
one
you
of the
did.
only places that was open, and
Oh,
I had
wow.
already had COVID like really badly, and I was like,
Mm,
all right, done with this quarantine thing, and I went to Istanbul. And Ben, I have to say, I it was definitely one of those magnetic pulls.
mm,
I loved it so much. I
wow.
loved it so much. And I cannot, if anybody is curious about Turkey or wants to check it out, God, please go. It's such a
Yeah.
beautiful country.
Ah,
Really.
well, I had plans to go next summer, and that's what I was thinking about. And it was to go see her, right? And so now the plans have changed, and there's other things that we can create now. And I know one of the reasons we wanted to do this morning is that Daniel was supposed to be on a plane this morning, and we weren't going to be able to do it. So we share this all to see how we can create something greater. So Daniel, do you want to tell us?
Sure, why not? So my partner and I had we have, let's just say we have a huge adventure planned for the next few months. And today
Mm.
we were supposed to fly to New York, and we are going to fly to New York. We are going to be in New York for a few days, and then we were flying to London, and then we're supposed to be in London for 10 days, and then flying to Milan. No, flying to Rome for the month of May, because we have a lot of events going on in May.
Oh,
And
wow.
also add to the excitement of all of that, like literally today the lease is up in our apartment. So all of our stuff is packed, ready. The movers came yesterday,
Oh,
and
wow.
but and how does it get any better? Literally, I went to go get my COVID test in the morning, and I was negative. Got my hair cut, got all cute, came home. My housekeeper was here helping us pack, all this good stuff. Guillermo goes to get his test, and he's positive, or his test was
Woo.
positive.
Yeah, his test was.
So it was a bit of a moment, I have to tell you, Ben. So
Mm.
my Spanish is still really, really, really rusty. Okay. So my housekeeper is amazing, but she doesn't speak English.
Mhm.
And none of the staff in the building really speak English either. So the movers had come, and the movers had come to help me move. And Guillermo's not here, and they don't speak any English. And I don't know what to do, because now all the plans have changed, right? And because
Yeah,
all the plans have changed, so Guillermo's calling them, telling them that we can't move right now, and we've got this and we've got that, and we've got on the phone with the building, this is what's happening. We're going to be stuck for probably another week or so. So, and then you kind of, there becomes a point where you either get really, really, really frustrated, and you could get frustrated, you could get angry, you could get upset, and you could start going into that movie of all of the things that could possibly go wrong or did go wrong or whatever. And I said, you know what? There is, we have this line in Access. You've probably heard me say it a gazillion and one times. How does it get any better than this? What else is possible? And that is creating the space of allowance to allow the universe to show you what is actually better than you could have ever planned yourself and that you could have ever managed yourself. So Guillermo sat down, we sat down, we were running this process, and we were like, hey, let's see what happens. Um, yeah, so here we are, and I get to be live with you.
that's incredible. Well, I'm grateful that you didn't pack all your equipment, that you're able to be here.
Oh, I did. Don't worry. I
Okay.
had to unpack it all this morning.
Yeah. Well, at least it didn't get with the movers. But I want to acknowledge you
Exactly,
for that,
exactly.
Daniel. And
Thank you.
so where are you
Thank you.
moving?
Our plan is that we are going to be in Europe for 2 months, and then we're going to come
Mm,
come back to Mexico City. But we
and
want
see what happens.
we want a bigger apartment. We always do. We wanted a bigger apartment, so we wanted
Mm,
to have a little bit more space, and we wanted just a different energy. I love
yeah.
this apartment. We love you. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
But we wanted something bigger with a bigger view, something different. So we knew we were looking for that anyway. So
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's, I mean,
So
that's
now
the
you
plan in these
get to
10
create
seconds, right?
something greater. Well, I just love that. And if anyone's listening, I want to know how this, if you're listening, you're like, oh my God, like Daniel had all this stuff. He's moving. I wonder if anyone's having like anxiety or freaking out over there on your behalf, or what
Yeah.
comes up when people hear this stuff. It's like when a kid falls and
Mhm.
everyone could be like, oh my God, and the
Yeah.
kid's like, "Ah," or like the
Right.
kid falls and you're like, okay, cool, get up. Like, let's talk about, are you okay? Like, do you want to
Yeah.
share? Do you want to keep walking?
Uh-huh.
And so we can read the energy of like, what energy do we give this to? So I'm curious, how this lands for people. And if there's anything in your life where suddenly something's happened and you don't know like how to what to do next, right? You're just like,
Right.
well, or you feel like, suddenly let go of a job, or suddenly everything changes.
Right.
And so, Daniel, it's one thing I love about you and just your open spirit to like,
Thank
I
you.
don't know where we're going to live, but we're creating, it's going to be greater. And let's see what happens. Right.
Yes,
And so now
exactly.
you all have an opportunity. You could look at it as a challenge. And actually, I
Absolutely.
just taught a workshop. I'm starting to do some corporate workshops on stress and wellness and self-care and how to, and there's actually a positive side of stress that we don't ever talk about. And how we can use that for us. Like there's actually, and it's all about perception. There was a study that came out that adults with high stress actually are 43% more likely to die early, but it was only the ones who believed, this was the catch, that stress also impacted their lives. So the ones that believed that it did not, they had the stress and they had a full life, they
Yeah.
actually were some of the least likely to die
Yes.
early. And so
Absolutely.
belief is just like, right, how big is
Huge.
that? And that's why we talk about this. That's
Huge.
why we're
Yeah.
here. And it sounds woo-woo to some people. And
So
that's the
let
term we give to throw off. But this is,
yeah.
there's something really powerful, potent, and it's simple.
Incredible. Speaking of, check this out.
Yeah.
So when I went to get my COVID test yesterday, I went to go see this doctor, right? And I
Mhm.
walk into the office, and he's speaking Spanish to me, and I'm like, and he goes, Inglés, Robert Allen Tuttle the third. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he goes, oh, what do you do, Mr. Tuttle? And I said, well, I'm a therapist, and I'm a coach, and I help people. And he goes, oh, so this guy, this doctor, and I started. I said, have you ever heard of epigenetics? And he goes, of course. First of all, the doctor was Belgian, and he pulled up his YouTube, and he's done all of these lectures. He's a professor at one of the biggest universities here, and he's
Mhm.
done all of these lectures on epigenetics. Now, if you guys haven't heard about epigenetics, I encourage you to do some research. Epigenetics is how we take on beliefs from our ancestors. It is proven
Mm.
that through epigenetics, we have our cells and our genes have actually been imprinted with so much of that, let's say, trauma, drama, all of those things that our ancestors lived through and that we are now taking on. So, Ben, how many of us are actually looking at stress through the lens of our ancestors or through our parents or somebody else who has nothing to do with us? It could even be something that's cultural,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
That
like, yeah, we
is
yell in our household. Yeah, I always yell.
exactly,
That means everything's
exactly.
fine. We love each other when we're yelling, right? And
Or
then
we
that
have to
becomes
freak
something.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to freak out. If things don't go our way, we have to freak out,
Yeah.
right? Or money issues too, man. The biggest thing that I see in my
Mm.
practice, and I'm actually about to launch a program to help people to find their financial health and financial security.
Ooh,
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, but one of the things that I found so much is that so much of our financial reality as well, Ben, is taken on by the beliefs of our parents and our
Oh my
ancestors.
God. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I've found that as well. And woo, yeah, I did. I think we even talked about this. Like I did when I lived in New York City, I got to Actors Equity is one of the most incredible nonprofits in the world. And
Yeah.
they provide even they provide financial counseling for artists.
Mhm.
And when you have zero fixed income, or you have multiple streams that are not fixed income, your
Yeah.
everything you do is quote unquote freelance. Budgeting, all of those things can be really daunting. And especially if you didn't get those tools naturally, or you didn't inherit the money mindset. And I was a business kid. Like I used to I mean, I've been running businesses since I was like a kid and creative, right? But even still, I inherited so much around money that wasn't mine. And belief that, if I do good for the world, then money's bad. I don't need to. Everyone who has a lot of money. And anyway, in this course, the reason I brought up is because I just want to give a shout out to them and Rebecca Selko there, who's done incredible work with artists, and she helped change my life. And one of the things she taught this course, right? And it was just about learning about how we relate to money and the psychology of money. And one of the assignments was just to go interview our parents about their relationship to money, each one individually, and then their parents, our grandparents. If one wasn't alive, you ask your parents, what was it like? What were the things you heard? What were you told? And we just came back and shared this the next week. I mean, I know it's a room full of actors, but we were all strangers and we didn't know each other. No one was that comfortable. And within 15 minutes, we're all weeping, realizing how chained we have been by the beliefs that we inherited.
Absolutely.
Right. And crying because, as you start to see it, you can actually let it go.
Yeah. I mean, our grandparents were I know my grandparents were in the Depression, and I learned I learned very early on actually that I had a grandfather, a great grandfather, that was in the auto industry in Detroit at the time of the Depression, and he was extremely wealthy and extremely successful, and lost everything. Right, during the Depression, lost everything. And so one of the things that was always taught to me was, you've got to be careful of money, because if you get too comfortable with money, it can slip out the back door, basically. It can just leave you. And I remember once I started doing the work that I do, and working with beliefs and recognizing that that's not mine, that I don't need to buy into that or hold on to it, that I can create something different from it. It's such a powerful, powerful freedom. You know what I mean? It's a powerful freedom. And it ties in very much with what we're talking about today as well, about how if we choose to create a different reality around how we react when things show up in our lives, then what contribution can we also be to our family now and the families of our future? Because epigenetics says that once we change our genetics now, once we change those beliefs now, our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will also be affected by them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into why I've always loved energy work, is because I actually had a girlfriend whose mother was really into past life work, and I was just fascinated talking with her. And we started talking about like the generations of depression in my family, the suicide in my family, the loss, the generation of loss, and that also both my parents had been on antidepressants most of their life. And I said, and I was at a point where I was needing them, and because I'd been on them and I didn't have them, I was traveling or something. And, I said, it's really scary to feel like controlled by the medication. And also I get that it's helping me and that it's important and saved my life. And I don't want to put a Band-Aid on this. Like, I want to actually deal with this. I don't want to take a pill that'll just, help me feel better. I want to also do the work that's behind this, so I don't pass this on. I really don't want to pass this on. And that's something that, Cassie and I both really worked on. And that's our own work, that we actually get to create something greater. Yes. So one of the things I want to get into, first of all, if you're listening, and we want to say thank you so much. Please be sure to subscribe and comment. Let us know what's landing, because this really is a dialogue between all of us. So I went right on to that I lost my train of thought.
I know. You're so cute.
So for the belief work, right? So let's talk about yeah, so I wanted to get into the solution here, Daniel. And so you're so great at, we're talking about letting go, and when you have loss, and it's okay, great. It's fine that we can change our beliefs, right? But how do we actually do that? Like, what's the access to that? So what are some of the ways, like this morning or last night or yesterday when you got the test, like you
Yeah.
got the results? How do you create differently? How do you choose differently?
I will share something that always works for me, and that is I honor and recognize that I am completely, completely, completely out of control. Right?
Hmm.
I recognize every single day that I am out of control, that I have no control, and that the energy of the universe actually will take me exactly where I'm truly asking to go. Okay. Now, that sounds a little big, broad, esoteric. The first thing you can do, Ibn, is ask a question. Because
Hmm.
oftentimes when these things happen to us, we want to find an answer. We
Yeah.
want to find an
We
answer. We
want to
want to
know
be like,
why.
God damn it, I don't understand. I was supposed to be on that plane and I have to see this. And it's my friend Bernice's birthday tomorrow. And I was going to
Hmm.
surprise her for her birthday. And then I was going to do this. And
Oh.
then I was going to do that. Right. In that moment, if we actually just stopped and said, okay, what is right about this that I'm not getting? That's one of my favorite questions, right?
What is
What
right?
is
I love that.
what is right about this that I'm not getting? And if you just say that a few times, what is right about this that I'm not getting, and you don't try to answer it, you allow the universe to show you, things will start to show up. So, what is right about this that I'm not getting is a tool from Access Consciousness that I use all the time. And then I start to feel lighter. Once I start to feel lighter, I start to feel a little bit of excitement, a little bit of possibility building up. And then I can actually open myself up to, hey, you know what? How does it get any better than this? What else is
Yeah.
possible? You know?
Yes. Wait.
And
I
it's
gotta show you something real quick. I mean, if you're listening, I know you can't see this, but I have this board from
uh
when I was traveling and going through serious grief from the loss of my father. And 6 months
yeah.
ago, I gave myself the gift of going to the beach. And that week, I was really depressed. And I heard Daniel say this. And I wrote it down. These were the things I had to do: taxes, accountant, advisor. And then what I wrote really big was, how can it work out better than I ever imagined?
So beautiful,
So
Ben.
when we didn't have a place to live, I just found this board yesterday that was still there, and I wanted to transfer that onto my new one.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
because
thank you.
we
That was a gift, Daniel, you gave me 6 months ago that I
course.
still literally carry with me, because I carry that possibility as a reminder to choose differently.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. It's true. How can this work out better than we ever imagined?
Yeah.
How
And what is
cool.
right about this that I'm not getting? I mean, is we just had loss in our immediate circle last 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Then we were out of town, staying in a really terrible hotel in Brooklyn. I didn't talk about that experience. I didn't sleep at all, thanks to our party people next door.
Oh God.
And we basically found out that we might have black mold in our house, and we had just finished unpacking everything and finally getting everything perfect and getting our whole home settled. We just feel like we moved in. It's taken us about 8 months, right? And it was, Cassie was saying, I don't know if I don't think I want to go home, right? We can't go back to our house. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have one of the biggest weeks of my life next week. Like, we have to go back. And I can see myself not even able to detach from, like, of course I shouldn't be in a home full of that, right? But I was so attached to, things needing to work out and creating this perfect home to create our family, and just felt like everything was falling into place and alignment. And then just suddenly it was like, wait, we might have to move again. Hold on. Because you've been moving for 16 months, and rather than just seeing, like, how could this work out better than I imagined,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
literally, Cassie and I decided, because we're still grieving from another loss, we're not going to deal with this weekend. We'll deal with it on Monday.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to talk about it. But every morning she woke up in a panic, and we were getting phone calls from our family like, you need to lawyer up now, like you need to sue. And we just kept saying, like, hold on, hold on. And I heard this voice, just keep gathering information before you like come to any big conclusions, right? Like the we need to freak out thing. And we got another, so we reached out to the mold test guy again. So we're really concerned about going back. And he said, you know what? He actually wrote us, he took the time to send us a long personal text and said, it's not black mold. It is high, but it's not toxic. You can go to your home, and here's what you need to do to take care of it. And it was like an angel. All we needed to do was ask this guy, right? Get more
That's
information.
amazing.
And now he's working with us. And now we've like sent a really beautiful message to the owner to work on it together, right? Not like, look what you did. It's like, hey, we really love this place and we'd like to stay here. What can we do to work together?
Amazing.
And I had to, and then I found out, this more loss this week, and it was, my brain went to the why that you were talking about. So I just want to let our listeners know that, I struggle with this. I'm saying like, why did this happen? What am I supposed to do now? And then finally I had the thought, oh wait, maybe there's something greater.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share, our amazing friend and producer, Becky, said, the universe always has a way of supporting you while it works on the plans it's aligning for you on your behalf. So even if you can't see it now, Daniel, like maybe there's something even greater being created for you there.
Absolutely. Definitely.
And either way, you get to create, you can choose
whatever.
You can choose what's happening, or you could like choose to freak out, right?
Exactly. And and also recognize too, sometimes the chaos is the greatest point of creation.
Yeah.
In that energy of like, hey, wow, this could be fun. What else could I create here? So, really finding that space of recognizing, hey, you know what? All right, let's figure it out. Let's see how it's going to play out. I love that.
Oh, and
somebody else wrote here. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Say it. This one?
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely love this Facebook user. It is okay just to have a moment to scream. Hell yeah, it is. You are absolutely right. And one of the most healing things we can do to get out all of this energy, right?
Yeah. In fact, I encourage it.
Energy. Me too.
And especially if it's control. We do in the Lion's Den, we roar, and I just like it because it's like really guttural and like and you can put that stuff in, but it's also controlled and it can really vibrate your body. So I'm a big believer in somatic work and getting in your body, and so any kind of release, screaming, yelling, howling. I love to howl at the moon. That's something you can really let it out. Exactly. Let people think you're as crazy as you want. This is for you. So any safe space to do that. And if you don't feel a safe space in your home, like create one. You can do it with pillows in a closet, in a bathroom. You can really get creative in a way to release. And it's safe to do that. And it can feel unsafe to release because it's like, oh, what am I going to stir up? But, if you don't let that shit out, it is going to come out somewhere else that is not as healthy.
So that was from Jason. So let's acknowledge Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, Jason Simmons.
Thank you. And I also, there's sometimes Cassie and I will be in a what feels like heated conflict, and I'll be trying to share, and she just sometimes she has a hard time being with the way I'm emoting, just being with my emotions. And I said, but I finally learned, and I've actually told her, like, if you can hold space for them for 5 seconds, then they will disappear. But if you're trying to control them or react to them, right, then they just feel like they get bigger, right? And because we're trying to learn like how and why we trigger each other. It doesn't always matter, but if we can sort of get at the source, then we can pause before it gets greater. And what I realize is and even if she can't hold space where it's not her job to, then I can go hold space for myself. So I can remove myself and release it. And what I learned is that it's actually important for me to release it so that I can let it go. Because if I don't, I'm going to carry it through my whole interaction with my partner. And that's my part. That's what I can do to let go, is take care of myself and what I need so that I can show up for
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah, um, Andre Brew says the creator always has a plan, and
Hmm.
you're absolutely right. The creator does always have a plan. Whether we call the creator God or whether we call the creator the universe or whatever, I always my new one of the things I've been really empowering people with is just knowing that the universe has your back, dude.
Mm,
The universe has your back, okay? And if you know that the universe has your back, then allow yourself a second to just be. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to control anything.
mm,
You don't have to pretend to do anything. You don't have to be something for somebody else. Just relax and be who you be, because the
yeah.
universe has your back,
Mm. That's such great advice, Danielle, and wisdom to share. And there's another client I have, and he does all the things. Like, he does the meditation and the exercise, and he's on a plant-based diet, and he's doing intermittent fasting, and he's showing up for his job and trying to make time for his family, but he still is like crumbling and depressed and struggling and on the inside. And
Mhm.
one of the things we're getting to, and one of the things he's dealing with is time, right? But he's doing all these things, but he hasn't actually made space just to be, right? And you said that, like, stillness is such an important part, to just feel, to just slow down and
Yes.
allow and listen, right? We're always trying to look for cures and solutions and more action and proaction.
Yes.
Owen from the
Definitely.
awareness space, who's here, really beautiful guy with a great podcast, great wisdom, says being is freeing.
It sure is.
Yeah. Well,
It
thank you
sure
for
is.
that.
Ben, thank you so much for being the invitation always. And how does it get even better than that? And thank you to everyone who contributed today, everyone who's listening, all of your energy. We are really incredibly so grateful that you are all here, and this has really become such a special space. I know for myself, but myself and Ben, but for all
Yeah.
of us. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you're listening to us live, know that we are a podcast now. You can subscribe to us on Spotify and all the places where you find podcasts. Just look Wake Up Wednesdays, um, with Ben and Daniel. And you can replay this. That's why we record it for all of you. And this is really with you and for you. So please be sure to share this with someone who could use it in your life to help spread this medicine. And if no one told you they love you today, we love you.
We do. We absolutely
And
love
go
you.
create. Go choose. Yeah.
Go create. Have the best day yet. What will it take to enjoy every single second beyond? Ben, thank
So,
you again so much. And I love you very much.
I
Thank
love
you.
you too. And we'll send continued healing and
Thank you.
creative prayers your way.
Totally. I receive
Yes.
all of that.
And to Guillermo, we send Guillermo lots of healing.
Thank you. He will appreciate that too.
Have a beautiful week, everyone. See you
Bye,
next
guys.
week.
Thank you.
Bye.